Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Kind of messed that up. Anyways, get my head scratching out of the way. Yeah, welcome to another video, and let me turn my tablet on so I get a little bit of light shining up from underneath. Well, shoot, if I can put in the code. There it goes. And alright, so let's get the drinks out of the way. Got my monster drink. Got my sherry. And today I'm going with cream sherry. So it's supposed to taste as opposed to dry sherry, which of course cream is as a state supposed to be creamier. So today I'll be smoking Cuban honey truffle. It's something truffle, I forgot, but it's basically Cuban honey truffle. And now the pre-sniff before I light it, it does have an earthy kind of a dirt smell, in my opinion. It's not a very nice smell, but once you light it, it actually has a really nice aroma. Taste-wise, all Cuban honeys they're not the best tasting. Even though the wrapper is a darker wrapper, it is not painted, by the way. It is actually a light cigar. Something you can smoke after dinner or drinking your glass of sherry. So yeah, let's get it lit. So speaking with a buddy, and we got to talking about reparation again. Nice smooth draw, and of course, since this is a flavored cigar, yeah, I said that the aroma is really nice actually. Now smell it after lit. So this was kept in a masonry jar, a door, I guess so you can call it. So yeah, and all Cuban honey cigars are going to be like this darkish hue or darkish color, but they're actually light cigars. They're not mild or strong. I've actually smoked 2 of these in one sittings. Not the truffle, but of course I think I had like the vanilla, and then I had like a cherry. Yes, they have they also make like cherry, vanilla, chocolate. Yeah, so we got to talking, and we got to talking about reparation. So the final number that's come up is $30 trillion, and if you were to pay every black man, woman, and child that is alive today, it will come up to somewhere around. This is about what 30. I think the population of blacks in the U.S. is around 34 million. So it's about the $30 trillion, and so that would come out to something like I think it was like 3 million or 3 million per person or something like that. No, I gotta do the math. It's something like that. Of course, it wouldn't be fair to, let's say, a single person or a household that's got 6 kids. But anyways, so I kind of told him, look, man, that's not happening, man. U.S. is, even though the U.S.'s gross domestic product is about $90 trillion, we're not going to print $30 trillion to give to some folks who don't deserve it. So we got talking some more, and I finally told him, look, the only way this is going to work is separation. And a lot of blacks do agree with the desegregation or just separation. And I said, okay, there's 2 ways to do it. Either give blacks in the U.S. Puerto Rico. Say, okay, Puerto Rico's yours. all blacks in the U.S., you got 3 years to move to Puerto Rico. If you stay in the U.S., you can't claim, go to Puerto Rico and be your own country, basically. You can call it whatever you want, call it Wakanda, whatever. And of course he's like, well, what about the people in Puerto Rico? I was like, well, give the people, tell the people of Puerto Rico, hey, you got a choice. Stay in Puerto Rico, or come to the U.S. You get automatic U.S. citizenship, because if you think about it, you're trading, and I doubt all blacks are gonna go, but let's say it does happen. I would probably say the majority of blacks would go. And I don't know what the population of Puerto Rico is, but it's definitely not 34 million. So let's say, half of the population of Puerto Rico decide, okay, I'm moving out. I'm going to the U.S. and I'm getting automatic citizenship, and getting, I guess, moving out aid. I guess they'll get some sort of aid, for moving out of Puerto Rico to the U.S. And we got to talking about this, smoking some sticks, have some drinks on the side, and yeah, this cigar, like I said, once it's lit, it has a really, really nice aroma. And I can see why it's popular. So, and of course, they got to talk. Hey, it's like not all blacks in the U.S. are going to move to Puerto Rico, but I told you, yeah, the majority probably will, and the majority of Puerto Ricans will probably move out if the U.S. go, hey, we'll help you move out. We'll help you with, housing costs, help you find jobs. Give you some stimulus for a year or two, to get your feet up and running, because you're uprooting people and moving them. It's like, okay, well, that idea might work. Then the second idea was to give, because again, printing $30 trillion is not going to work. The second idea, and I believe this idea came up under the Obama administration, which is to give blacks their own states, and have them, and I didn't really read up on. I don't know if they were going to give blacks their own state, and then they can make it into their own country, or just that's the states that blacks needs to move to, kind of thing. Yeah. So the second was to give blacks their own states. So and it came up to like 4 states. The question is which. It would have to be 4 states that are kind of close to each other. So it either have to be 4 states in the north, or 4 states in the south. You can give North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, because they're right there on the east coast. And or you can just give or you can give New York, give California. See what other give which other I'm trying to think of another. Philadelphia, Michigan. Those are already blue states, and it's already heavily populated by a lot of black population. So yeah, because we're kind of sitting there thinking, like, okay, let's which states would it be? And that's my first thought was, hey, it's got to be 4 states that's right next to each other. And we're like, well, why not just make it blue states that are heavily populated by black population? Kind of named off a few states, and I would go with the give the black population in the U.S. Puerto Rico. That would be my first. The second would be, yes, okay, which 4 states do you guys want? We're not going to give you $30 trillion, but we'll give you 4 states, which would probably equal about $30 trillion. Kind of like over, I guess, in China, when what we're having, of course, what we're having right now is a communist cultural revolution. Kind of like what the oh, here comes the freaking June bugs, and they were buzzing me like crazy the other day. Kind of like the Bolshevik revolution is basically a communist cultural revolution. The Maoist revolution, which is again a cultural communist revolution. And of course, look up the. That was 8 steps or 10 steps to a communist takeover without a war. That's basically what's happening in the U.S. and that's basically what happened in China and in Russia, and now it's come here to the U.S. and and of course, we and hopefully the politicians who are in office realize this and say, hey, we got to put our foot down because I'm not going to let this communist cultural revolution take off, because right now it's like in the very beginning stage. People haven't been people are being lynched on social media. Before you know it, it's going to be people being tried and hung or tried and killed in the streets like they were doing in Russia and China. I mean, they're already doing the book burning, physical book burning and digital book burning. People are being shamed on social media. But anyways, so the Chinese nationals over in China, they fled. Some fled to Hong Kong. A whole lot, most of them fled to Taiwan. Some fled to Indonesia, Singapore. That's why Indonesia, Singapore, and those islands in the Southeast Asia archipelago, and in Southeast Asia itself, Indochina, is full of Chinese, because a lot of them fled the Maoist Communist Chinese persecution. Of course, Hong Kong, in my opinion, they I think it was 1900. Of course, is when the British, because the British government was in Hong Kong long before the agreement between the British government and China that they're going to lease. Basically, they leased China for 97 years, from 1900 to 1997, and basically they had about 97 years to think something up. Like, hey, look, man, we need to find a way to get out of this contract. They should have done it before the the Maoist Communist Chinese takeover around the 1960s. Because once that happened, any thought of we need to get out of this contract and make Hong Kong a permanent British colony, which they never got around to doing. So again, once the Maoist Communist Chinese took over in the 60s into the 70s, they started in the 60s, but it took them about 10 years to finally take over China and make it the the communist China we see today. Yeah, so at that point, yeah, in any talks, anything going to the table wasn't going to happen, and 1997 came. The handover, and I watched it on TV. I watched all the fireworks and all of that going off. And some 20, let's see here, 10, some 23 years. So some 23 years later, it was the Chinese slowly bled Hong Kong to the point that now that they, the communists have pretty much taken over Hong Kong. They completely taken over the government, the police. There are Chinese citizens flooding illegally, or they're coming over. The way it works is that for a Chinese citizen, to visit Hong Kong, you fill out a seven. It's not really a visa. It's more like a 7-day pass. Or if you need to stay longer, then I guess you fill out a visa, and you can only stay like a month. But if you just want to come to visit and leave the next day, or come for a weekend visit, you can fill out a 7-day pass. And a lot of these folks are coming in. A lot of these folks from China are coming into Hong Kong, and they're not leaving. They're overstaying their visitor's pass, or they're overstaying their visa. And of course, they're flooding Hong Kong, and of course, straining the Hong Kong welfare system. Um, Now, of course, Hong Kong is pretty westernized, but in my opinion, they are pretty libtard-ish. Um, to be fair, and like I said, Asians are liberal-leaning, or liberal thinking, to begin with. So of course, a communist takeover of China and parts of Southeast Asia, uh, you know, was easy. Yes, I know there's talk about the Bay of Pigs. The U.S. shouldn't have invaded Vietnam, and all of that. Okay, well, so back to the reparations. So basically, the talk pretty much ended there. We're like, okay, well, we know, we know what the U.S. ain't going to print $30 trillion. The separation plan's not going to work. Blacks are not going to want to move to Puerto Rico. That means that and make Puerto Rico into Wakanda. Blacks are not going to want to move to a specific black-only states where it's black everything. Black governor, black lieutenant governor, pretty much black government from top to bottom, and it's black only. That's like pretty much make the state black only. Like white people can go visit, but you can't move there. So I was like, okay, and I was thinking, well, that would be like the most likely to happen if it came down to it, and if this thing keeps continuing and comes down to it. The white folks come to the table. All the white folks, not just the liberal white folks, but the Republican, Democrats, Independents, Libertarian whites, all come to the table, black folks, and go, all right, guys, which states do you want? We'll give you 4. No more. We'll give you less if you want less. We're not going to give you any more than 4. Do you want New York? Sure, I'm pretty sure they'll agree to New York. You want Philadelphia? I'm pretty sure blacks will agree to Philadelphia. You want Maryland? Heck, you can probably just give them like the northeast section of the U.S. basically. Okay, and pretty much it should, all this protest and stuff should fizz out next week. Like I said, normally when this happens, it lasts about 2 weeks. After about 2 weeks, the third week, it begins to fizz out. People lose interest. The MSN lose interest. About a month or 2 from now, George Floyd's name will be forgotten. Just like, I forgot his first name, Ahmed Arbery. Name has pretty much been forgotten. No one's mentioning his name. None of the protesters, not the MSN, not the liberal elites, not the liberal politicians. Nobody's mentioning, Mr. Arbery. The same thing's going to happen with George Floyd. His family. The only one's going to remember will be his families and friends. And of course, when the court case proceedings and when the verdict, if there's not an acquittal before it's the, well, I doubt there's an acquittal before, because normally you get an acquittal before a case begins. That's normally what an acquittal means. It's like we don't have enough evidence. We don't have enough evidence to even get the court proceedings going. We're gonna have to go with an acquittal. Someone keeps popping firecrackers. No, it's not gunshots. No, it's not firecrackers. Never mind. Yeah, I just know it's like honeydew. It's not from my yard doesn't have it. I guess it's from the neighbor. It's like the scent of the flavored cigar with the honeydew whiffing in the air. So of course, once the court proceedings begin, then of course it will come back into the news, and then once we get either a guilty or of course, if we get a not guilty, then yes, it's going to be looting and rioting again. Give them 2 weeks, third weeks they'll fizz away, and then or it could be like what's his name, that George Zimmer, where was not guilty. Blacks came out and protested in like 1 week. It went away, and that was it. Well, I'll end it on that. Enjoy your smoke. I haven't really bought any new cigars ever since the lockdown. Uh, of course, online, you can still order online. There's still a lot of stocks. Price has gone up a little bit on cigars, not a whole lot. Because again, it's probably supply versus demand. There's probably not enough supplies coming in from the Dominican, from Nicaragua, or whichever other country cigars being made in South America. Of course, we here in the U.S. make our own cigars too. We even, I believe the U.S. is like the second largest, or maybe the largest cigar tobacco grower. Yeah, not for cigarette, but for cigar. I think the U.S. is either the second or the first largest supplier and grower of cigar tobacco. Yeah, and we do have cigar companies here in the U.S. So I guess may need to stop buying them. The made in America cigars, just to if they're cheaper, but they're around the same price. I'm going with the I think Cuban Honeys are Dominican, or comes from the Dominican Republic. Well, that's it. Thank you guys. Enjoy your smoke. Stay safe. Don't get sick. Don't get caught up in no riot. And thank you for watching.